Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Welcome to Forget Work, Watch Films with your hosts, Tony Howe, Thomas Connors, and Robert Connors.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful. But it's not much better in here because I'm sat with my co-host. You should see him. I'm Tom, I'm hosting this week. How are you two doing?
Yeah, I'm alright, thank you.
Hey, I'm good, I'm really good. Christmas in 2 weeks' time. Can you believe it?
2 days and then I'm off.
2 weeks'
Can't
time.
wait.
Time's flying by now that we're doing a podcast every week. All of a sudden, I mean, what are we on now? Episode 14 or something? 14 weeks?
I've not been keeping count.
Have you, you struggled, don't you? With
Once we went over 10, I'd lost my fingers.
Over 10, yeah.
See, I'm actually
can't
really
see
good at
toes.
Counting.
Yeah. I learned it years ago. Anyway, come on.
So welcome everybody to Forget Work, Watch Films, the only podcast in the world that keeps up to date with film news day in, day out. You'll never find a podcast anywhere that covers films like we do. Isn't that right?
Still sponsored by KG Hobby.
I wouldn't Google that either. Just
Check out how to rate word for it.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Scouts Honour.
Yeah.
it's been since... Well, I want to say since the last podcast, there's been quite a few trailers dropped, but there was a few just before we did the last podcast, like Mulan and...
Well, we covered Mulan, we covered Black Widow, and we covered Bond.
Yes.
And since then,
there's been a few more come out. Wonder Woman, 1984, Free Man with Ryan Reynolds, and obviously the one which I think we're going to cover a lot about, Ghostbusters Afterlife. So before I get into the meat of Ghostbusters, which I think we're going to talk about for a bit, what are you thinking of the Wonder Woman trailer, 1984? What did you think?
I'll let you take this, Rob.
Do you know what, right? It's very weird with Wonder Woman because I actually thought Wonder Woman 1 was alright. I thought it was decent. But that come out quite a while ago now. I think they finished filming Wonder Woman like 2 years ago or something. It's been a long time coming because I think they're struggling what to do at DC. But the problem is, so DC is going in all different directions. But for me, Wonder Woman is a character that works. She looks unbelievable, doesn't she?
I think the thing is, with the casting, the actual actors they've got are absolutely fantastic. Like Henry Cavill, to me, he is Superman.
Yeah.
Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
But-
So, wing!
But
She can lasso me up anytime.
But what?
Oh yeah, with what is it, Lasso of Truth?
Yeah.
You'd be screwed with that.
But
She's not going to tie me up and then start asking me a lot of questions.
thing is with Wonder Woman, right? Why? So you watch that trailer, right? And this isn't a bad thing, but best thing about it, soundtrack. I think it's fucking mint. It's right good. I love that song. But obviously, first thing I thought is Stranger Things 3. That's set in a mall in 80s.
That was just exactly what I'm going to say.
But-
is everything now too much about 80s?
Well,
I
no.
mean, I was there, I remember it.
But it's an easier way to write a film, I think. Put it in past. And
I think
sort
it's-
of- But I think Wonder Woman herself, why on earth, right? Why would you not want to watch that film? If you're into them sort of movies, you watch that trailer. I think it looks very good. I think it looks really good. I think she looks class. I think when she's cracking whip of that storm, I think that looks mint. Why would you not want to watch it? I know DC's going in a funny route, but you know what I mean? I think it looks really good.
Once again, a little thought's just popped in my head. This 1984 business,
Yeah, it's so that it doesn't tie
Right.
with modern.
where does that sit in with the other films that have
The
previously just come,
DCEU.
because it were never mentioned or shown at all
No.
in Batman vs Superman.
Oh, yeah, we had this.
Well, let's just forget that film anyway, because it's not even the same. Batman's left. Ben Affleck.
Justice
No,
League.
but let's just say, can I just say, right? I've just had a thought, just like you. Just Dawn of Justice, which was a pile of shit. That's obviously modern day, wasn't it? That is the now. Wonder Woman set in 84. In Batman Superman, Batman was a hardened veteran who'd been doing it 20 odd years. So what's to say it's set in 80s? They could introduce Pattinson's Batman, which is set, couldn't they? Joker was set in 80s.
What, link them all in together?
If Wonder Woman 2 makes over $1 billion, Joker makes over $1 billion, Batman makes $1 billion, why would they not?
Wonder Woman 2 will not make
No,
over
it
$1
won't, but
billion.
I think first one did.
It could do.
I
I don't
first
think it will.
Aquaman did.
That's how
Yeah,
we.
we're all right.
That's how we decide lately if it's a success, if it makes $1 billion.
But could
that's
they-
what kind of level
Could they,
films are at.
if Pattinson's a success, could they not mix them together? I know it's due to the
They
story.
could make some. They could make some up.
It's the
Of course they
story.
could.
It's the course of Wonder Woman's story why it's in the 80s. But I think it looks great, and that's the thing. Like you said, they're casting apart from Ezra Miller, Momoa as Aquaman,
Yeah.
Cavill-
I really like Momoa as Aquaman.
Cavill as Superman,
Yeah.
Wonder Woman has got that is superb, isn't it?
For those certain ones, perfect.
It is,
And
and
then there's others which have been
I mean,
iffy, to say the least, which
We-
you mentioned before.
we watched that trailer for Wonder Woman 2, and the first question is, why is Chris Pine back? But obviously somebody's made a deal or something somewhere to bring his soul back. It's going to end in disaster in it, but otherwise, yeah, I think it looks really good.
Do you think it looks good?
It looks alright. It's not blowing my mind. I mean, I like,
Yeah, I'm
like
not
I say,
saying-
I like Gal Gadot, and I will watch it. But once again, it's not one of them where I'll be lined up. If you said, "Oh, let's go to the cinema, I've got a spare day," I'd be like, "All right, come on then. What's on Wonder Woman?" All right,
I
we'll
think
watch
it looks good, but I will. The thing I think at the minute is, like you said, everybody seems to be riding the coattails of the 80s. So will the film be any good? The trailer looks good, but will the film be any good? Because the music.
I didn't like
the-
one.
the
I
good-
thought one, the storyline was weak.
Well, let's forget about one.
Most of it were weak,
But the music that's in the trailer is good. That's not going to be on throughout the whole film. So while the trailer looks good, I'm not sure on the whole film. So yeah, that's Wonder Woman.
I'm not sure the villain's strong enough.
Well, we don't know.
It's
We don't
not
know
even
anything.
a proper.
We don't know anything about the
it
villain
never
yet.
is though,
Well,
is it?
it's supposed to be Max Lord, isn't
Well, there's
it?
two
It's
because
Cheetah, isn't it?
Cheetah's in it.
And Cheetah. Now, Cheetah obviously is a very more specific Wonder Woman villain.
Thing is, and all, like you're saying, Wonder Woman 1, I thought it had some really good moments, but by the end, it's an absolute CGI mess. It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
She's facing that ridiculous bad guy. That's going to happen in this one. You know it is.
Well, the twist weren't a twist. I saw it coming
Yeah.
a mile off.
CGI
There were
mess.
just bits that were just stupid.
Yeah. I know by the end of Wonder Woman 2, it'll be an unwatchable
So,
CGI mess.
2020 is going to be all about women films because we've got the Emancipation or whatever it's called of one Harley Quinn. We've got Mulan coming out. We've got Black Widow coming out. We've got Wonder Woman coming out. So there's all these like women-themed lead films and stuff. So it'd be interesting to see which one of them does really well. I think it's probably going to be Black Widow.
Black Widow.
Yeah.
Best. Black Widow because of the
Mulan,
MCU.
probably.
The others, I don't think. Will they get fanboys in? Because obviously it might do.
Yeah. And I'm going to give it a mention on this podcast because I know we've all watched it. Is it Free Guy? Is it?
Free Guy, we're just
With
it
Ryan
was just
Reynolds.
an obscure sort of like trailer that popped up. So we watched it, and seriously, it's like GTA on crack.
Yeah.
It's a weird, but it's classic Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
A lot of film Ryan Reynolds does these days. It's as though they've just made it for him.
Yeah.
As though they've just said,
Yeah,
Ryan,
he's-
what shall we do this week? Oh, well, I fancy doing this sort of film, and it's just
Do you know?
exactly right, Dan. It'll be fun. It looks like a fun CGI.
IMAX type film.
Yeah, that you'll like stick on a Saturday afternoon and watch. Does it look out special? No.
I think it looks really. I think music's mint again. I think it looks really good. You know, it's funny with him. I used to hate Ryan Reynolds. I couldn't stand looking at him, but now I think he's class. He's
Oh, I
very
love
good.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Love him.
He's,
Think
he's funny
brilliant.
as fuck, isn't it?
Hashtag Ryan Reynolds if you're listening.
At one point, he was only known for one good film, really. And was it Van Wilder?
Van Wilder was sort of
Yeah,
like the first
'cause-
film that broke out, where basically, as per usual, Ryan Reynolds plays Ryan Reynolds, as he always does in every single film he's in. And then obviously, I couldn't Blade Trinity. Then we've had like Wolverine Origins.
Wow.
I mean, a load of films in between. He did a few like rom-coms, which is not bad in. And that one he did with Sandra Bullock, which is quite a good film.
Yeah, well, and then he went through a phase doing comic book duds like Green Lantern and R.I.P.D. was it?
Yeah,
Was it?
I don't think I've ever watched that all the way through.
With Jeff Bridges. No, I
Yeah.
enjoyed it, but it were a flop.
Isn't it funny how as soon as he starts investing his own money, giving his own input, it becomes big. Deadpool's all in. It is.
Well, maybe
isn't it?
that's what you need to do. Maybe
And
that's the problem.
Tell you
Maybe
something at all, because Deadpool's done so well. That led to Joker, and that's done so well. So now Venom 2, that's going to be R-rated. All started
But
with
I think the thing with Deadpool, what it opens up with, is the fact that you sometimes need to do these comic book films as they are in the comic books, rather than trying to make them for a movie audience. Forget that.
Watch
Do
film.
it as they are. Read as they are in the comic book and just follow that format.
There's a reason they've been around so long, isn't there?
Well, there's a reason why they're popular, and that's what you follow.
Yeah.
Right then, so Ghostbusters.
Oh, here we go.
Ghostbusters Afterlife. The trailer dropped on Monday, 2 o'clock UK time. I ended up watching it about 10:30 at night because I didn't want to watch it on my phone while I were at work, and I wanted to watch it in all its glory.
Why did you not watch it when you just got in from home on your nice screen?
Because we had family commitments, which is quite often at this time of year. So when all you want to do is watch Ghostbusters 3. So
Can I watch the telly, please? No.
So
Close the lid.
Tony, you and just hear me out on this before you chime in. Correct me if I'm wrong. You like Ghostbusters 1. You think Ghostbusters 2's iffy. It's not that great. You didn't like Ghostbusters 2016.
No.
But after watching this trailer, you're on board.
Oh,
so
yeah. I mean,
tell me why.
You've got to remember
Because
that
stop a sec.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you as kind of like the general public, so the average moviegoer who's not a huge Ghostbusters fan, but this film's going to draw you in.
See, I am
so
a
why?
huge Ghostbusters fan. You've got to remember that I watched it when I was sort of like 12-year-old.
Yeah.
So it had a massive effect on me. It's such an amazing film. Now, did it have the same effect on me that it said on YouTube? No, but then again, I weren't raised on crack. 2 is iffy.
But forget
It
about
is so iffy.
So, but what is it about this new one?
It arcs so back to that original feeling of that original one, and I think when films that are then repeated or carried on 30 years later, you've got to do it as sort of, you've got to do it for the fans, and you've got to do it as
It makes sense
that
kind
you
of
love
thing.
that original film, and it's about the love that you've got for it, and it's like a thank you to that original film, and that's what this one's got, or it feels like it's got.
Yeah.
It's not trying to
Well-
better itself. It's just trying to say, this were an amazing film, and let's visit that again. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I think so. Right. I might slightly go off topic, but I've got like a very strong opinion of all this. So really, there's been loads of films where they've done sequels, remakes / revisits. Most of the time, they don't work. Do they? We've had problems. I don't know how they ever thought the 2016 one was going to work, because they rebranded it, recasted it, rewrote it. It was never going to work, were it?
I think what I've said before with the 2016, maybe they were naive that
No, but
they didn't realise.
Yeah,
and why
what-
didn't they
what
realise
they had.
what a massive thing they were dealing with?
Yeah, agreed. So, obviously, I'm not a fan, but Star Wars The Last Jedi, that's caused loads of problems. They've had the original cast come back. To me, I've spoken to lots of Star Wars fans. Doesn't work. They've tried changing things. like revisiting original cast members, this, that, and other. I speak to fans; they hate it. So now, when you look at Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is the Ghostbusters 3, we've been waiting for, like, every year there were rumours and tricklings of a new film, weren't there? But now it's actually happening, right? So we've got all this nostalgia. They're bringing characters back for Star Wars and whatever else there is. They're bringing characters back in, Bill and Ted, whatever. But so Ghostbusters, we've got such an iconic, like, original movie, iconic car, iconic suits, iconic music, iconic locations, firehouse. But do you know what the one thing that this trailer were riding? It could have used all those for nostalgia, couldn't it? Could have used every single bit of that to pump fans up, to get them excited. But do you know the only thing that it did rely on is story. Innit? The only thing that relied heavily on was story. It didn't show any of the originals. It didn't show the iconic look, the firehouse, New York City. Didn't show a theme song. It presented an interesting story, which to me looks like it's well written by an interesting fan. So I watched the 2016 trailer with an open mind. I said, look, I'm not on board with this, but I'm going to watch the trailer and I'll just be honest. If it looks good, fine. The trailer finished and I was absolutely mortified. But when the trailer finished for this, I didn't even know what to say, because I thought, there is no criticism. It's exactly what you're waiting to watch. A story, a good story. That's it, innit? That's all you want. And a good story that absorbs the originals. So everybody else watches this trailer. We've watched it 20 times and we can work out everything that...
Well, what you want it to do is you want it to complement.
Yeah.
As anything, you want it to complement the original.
I think
we've had too many films, Terminator for one, where it's not complemented it in any way.
Exactly. You want it to complement. You want it to
mistake.
complement the film, but you want it to feel like it belongs and it follows on the story.
Yeah.
And that's what this to me, Ghostbusters Afterlife, looks so connected with a good storyline that it's like I just can't wait to see where they've gone with it.
It's bringing you in.
Yeah.
You're wanting to know more. You wanted to you're intrigued already.
Yeah. So
and that's the main thing.
It's written and produced and directed by the son of the original director, Ivan Reitman. It's directed by Jason Reitman. But so his dad's involved in the whole process. He's like he's on set with him, shooting it. I would put money on this being completely faithful. It's not going to fall to pieces halfway through, is it? I think we're in for a good ride. And already the story has dropped a ton of clever... There's a lot to work out.
I think what I'm also impressed with is the casting.
Oh, well...
I think the casting itself as well.
Yeah.
I think the kids that they've chosen are some of the best actors around at the minute. I think Paul Rudd...
Well, do you know what's funny?
He's on a rise.
A week before they announced Paul Rudd, I was saying till I blew in face that, in my opinion, he's close. One of the closest things we've got to a modern day Bill Murray, and he would be perfect in a Ghostbusters film. Then a week later, they announced he were in it. But also, I thought McKenna Grace, in Gifted in particular, is incredible. Some child actors annoy you. And for me, even years before this Afterlife, I thought she were really good. I thought she were brilliant. Finn Wolfhard, Stranger Things. I have nothing to complain about. Those two child actors are perfect for this film.
Yeah,
and you can tell.
You watch some films and the kids annoy you.
Yeah,
to death.
Yeah, but you know that these two, at the heart of it, will be fans of this original film.
Yeah.
You know they will.
So we watched the trailer again before we did this podcast. We've watched it a few times. So a few Easter eggs that we've seen from the trailer was the book stacking, obviously in the house. We don't quite know who the house used to belong to, but we know it's the family of this new film who've inherited the house. Obviously, it looks obvious that it's Egon, but we don't know at this point for sure.
Is it Egon? Is it Louis Tully?
Well,
remember that Ray had a house and they put up for
I want to get
mortgage.
a few predictions from you in a sec, but let me just reel off a few of these Easter eggs. There's the book stacking, and then you can see an Ivo Shandor mine in the back as not in the background, kind of like in the foreground as McKenna Grace and Logan Kim are walking up to it. Now, I went and watched some parts of Ghostbusters 1 back, and when Egon's explaining who Ivor Shandor is while they're in the prison cell, if you remember it, towards the end of the film where they're locked open.
Yeah, for some reason, I thought it was a totally different name.
Yeah.
I remember the name.
Goes with Gozerian.
Might be.
Yeah.
But I remember him telling about the name, about the architect who built the building. And I seriously thought that name that you said for this did not resonate in the least with me. So maybe it was just one of them things that just passes you by.
Yeah, well, I want to try and, if I can, show you play a little bit of audio from that film where Egon's talking about Ivor Shandor, because I do think it is going to have what he says in the first film is going to be a major plot point of this one.
Right, go on.
Because basically, while they're figuring out what's happening at Dana Barrett's apartment, he's done a bit of research and he reveals it to him. Let me just find it for you.
It was Ivo Shandor. I found it in Tobin's Spirit Guide. He was also a doctor. Performed a lot of unnecessary surgery. And then in 1920, he started a secret society.
Let me guess. Gozer worshippers.
Right.
That's that town.
No studying.
After the First World War, Shandor decided that society was too sick to survive.
Right, so he says in there, in the 1920s he started a secret cult. If you were to go back and look at the Afterlife trailer, when it shows the Shandor mine, it says at the side of it, estimated EST 1920.
Established.
Yeah, so is this where he created his army of Gozer worshippers?
Let's be honest, some of the people that you see in that trailer, they look a bit like what you're doing around our parts.
So to me, let me just finish this little section.
Go on, and then I've got two things I've said. I'll forget them if you don't.
Let's be right.
Right.
You've got this new team of Ghostbusters that they're trying to establish. So that's Celeste O'Connor, I think, the Black Glass, who was in the trailer at the start. Finn Wolfhard, Logan Kim, and McKenna Grace. That's 4 Ghostbusters. You've got the original Ghostbusters. We know they're coming back, including Sigourney Weaver as well. She'll be there. Now, is this going to be about 8 Ghostbusters, 7 Ghostbusters taking on an army of 1,000 Ivor Shandor followers?
I've now got 3 questions.
Yeah. Go on.
1. In the trailer, you don't see really anybody in that town. Maybe that's what you're saying
well,
is
you
right.
see, like, the shopkeeper.
You don't really
and
see
other
many.
people.
No,
Yeah.
when they're going around bleeding, shooting, you don't see. You see about 1 person. 2. Why is if that's a house and a Ghostbuster, Egon, Ray, whoever, why is it there? Why is it next to that mine? Why have they specifically moved next to this guy who's a Gozer worshipper?
Well, maybe.
Why have they specifically set up there? Have they bought that mine?
Well, no.
Is the mine where all the stuff is?
So let's say after the events of the first film, they were successful again in 1989 in the second one. Maybe Egon researched where the origins of these buildings came from, which led him to the mine, which is where they're producing the material to do it. Or that's the gateway to hell.
It's just, why is that there? Why have they specifically moved and bought a house
because it's the Ivan,
next to there?
It's the Ivan Shandor mine, isn't it? Is they've set
but
up,
why?
They must be investigating ghosts.
3. How's everybody going to come back in?
Well,
we know all original cast are in, but it's alright saying, well, Ghostbusters will turn up, but how's Dana Barrett going to turn up?
Well, exactly.
How's
Janine
going to turn up? How's Louis Tully going to turn up?
Yeah.
Well, this is what I like about the trailer. It's raised these questions. Obviously, we know the originals are coming back, but how? How do they tie in?
This is a point I was making, though, because the 2016 one pretty much genuinely almost killed the franchise, didn't it? The studio would look at that and say, what the fuck are we doing? But that trailer could have added any one of them and become...
But this is why I think that the kid's mother, whatever, are linked to a supporting cast member.
Yeah.
Because to me, that is a perfect route to get a supporting cast member back. Now, if you follow what happened in 2, and Janine and Louis Tully got together, and then had kids, a daughter, who then had... That would be a perfect way to fit in.
Yeah.
Remember, Dana Barrett had a daughter, How old would she be now?
Well,
maybe that's
Oscar,
the daughter.
do you mean Oscar?
Would it a daughter?
No, her son. Oscar. Who
where's
Vigo
his
was
dad?
after.
Oh, is the dad Oscar?
The dad's Oscar. That's why we don't see dad. Now, if they said dad and they went, "Hi, dad," and mother's going Oscar, you'd be like, straight away.
Hold on a minute.
That's a good point.
Hold on a minute.
Oscar.
I've just had a point. What if he finds... So McKenna Grace finds the jumpsuits, it says Spengler. That's not to say it's his. But what if the granddad is Bill Murray, the dad is Oscar, and in some way, and the grandparents is Dana and Pete?
Possible.
No, well, we know that Oscar...
thinking now.
We know that Oscar is not Peter Venkman's child.
No, but it could be.
It's
because
not.
they've
It's not, because the start of Ghostbusters 2... she clarifies that.
Yeah,
that they
but
split
no,
up.
it don't matter. They don't have to be blood. What if they eventually did get
Well, yeah,
together?
well,
were raised, and
do
they
you
were
know?
raised
Should I
by,
tell you?
and they were raised by people.
But-
But I'm telling you now that the more I think about it, that's what I'm putting my money on.
What?
I'm telling you that the dad is Oscar.
Shall I tell you who
And
Oscar's
that's how Dana Barrett
who
comes
Oscar's
in.
dad is? That I've read, and I think
Yeah.
it was confirmed by Ivan Reitman. Oscar's dad is the guy from Ghostbusters 1, who's when Bill Murray, Peter Venkman, comes to meet Sigourney after the concert. He's there, and he's like, I think he's put his note up his nose.
Who's the stiff?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's Oscar's dad. And then because they're seeing each other while they're in the but
but
they eventually break up.
They can always rewrite things, can't they? I mean,
well, they can, but obviously,
Dana gets with Pete.
who knows? So,
but also
They moved to the.
they've always said for years if Bill Murray were to return, he'd be a ghost. What if he's in the afterlife? He could be in there with Egon. Someone could have gone tits up at this
Well,
bar.
what if they're mistaken? What if it says, well, it's my grandfather's, but they've never been to that place before?
No.
Now, what if when they think grandfather is not blood related, he's basically being left to him by somebody they call grandpa? But it weren't grandpa, it were Pete.
Let me hit you with another question then, because the main topic that you're trying to cover is who the dad is. Let me hit you with another question that the trailers rose. Why do this family not even know what a Ghostbuster is? They don't.
But nobody knows.
They do, because Paul Rudd.
No, I think you know if you're a certain age.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
But don't
You know if
forget.
you're a certain. It'd be like. Remember that it's something that happened in New York.
Yeah, in
It wouldn't
1984.
have really spread to pretty much anywhere else, maybe for that day or for a week.
No, but what I'm
So
trying.
what I'm
The question
saying
I'm
is-
trying to ask you is.
The kids don't know because they just. It's not a topic.
But it's their family. It's their
No, but
family.
this is what I'm saying. They know nothing about
No.
that side of the family.
Can I just say?
But why?
Hold
That's
on.
why I'm asking.
Well, that'll be one of the things that'll
Let
be
me-
raised. This is what I'm saying.
Let
But I'm raising it to you.
Can I just say, right? One thing I
Well,
noticed
I didn't write it.
the other night before the trailer come out, right? I watched Ghostbusters 1 and 2 back to back before it, and at the end of the first one, Ray Stantz says to Louis Tully, "You, my friend, have been involved in the cross rip of New York 1984." Da, da, da. Apparently, Paul Rudd's character is obsessed with the alleged cross rip of 1984. Obviously, Ray Stantz sets that up. You know, they've watched that film and used the cross rip. So Paul Rudd, is obsessed with the mythology and the
ghost.
hold on, he's obsessed with the mythology and the secrecy of the cross rip. He wants to know what it is. So now we're arguing they don't know who Ghostbusters are. I will bet you money that the mother knows. Why would she tell her children if she's upset? So let's say this is one of them films where the afterlife, the granddad or the parent, her parent, which would be the kid's grandparent, went missing in the afterlife. She thinks he's done one. He's died doing something. She resents Ghostbusters because it took her from him.
Yeah, but
Why would she tell
still
the kids?
But I still think not many people know what Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters will have become
No, but that's
like
not
an
what I'm
urban
saying.
legend.
What I'm saying is the children don't know who Ghostbusters are in the trailer. But what if the mum has kept it from them? They're only 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, she might know.
Why would they know? Why
Yeah,
would the kids
she
know?
might know, but they won't know.
She will know.
Don't forget as well, in Ghostbusters 1 and 2, they were famous. They went on. Who was the guy with the suspenders? Is it on the chat show in America?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Larry King.
Yeah.
Is it? They were on.
But famous for 15 minutes back in 80s.
But this is the thing.
It won't be famous now.
These kids will be born in like 2005.
Yeah.
But the parent, the mum, will know who Ghostbusters.
Yeah, she will do, but I think she'll know.
She's
because I think
protected.
she also knows that. Like, I agree with everything that you've said.
She's protecting the kids because
Yeah.
she thinks if they took me dad, they're not taking you. That sort of thing.
Or
The profession.
maybe it's something to do with white dad. Yeah, why her husband's not there?
Yeah, exactly. So she don't.
Maybe he got involved.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just her husband; it's the dad. It's her dad as well. They're both missing.
And
aren't
I'd say
they?
Yeah,
something-
but this is
They're
what I'm
both
saying.
out
That
of
what if
picture.
it's not her dad? What if I'm saying is, what if the grandfather route is just like Pete, more like a stepdad? Like he was never really in her life because he only kept turning up every so often, which is basically what happens in Ghostbusters 2. He just turns up again, doesn't he? They've not seen each other for years.
Yeah.
And what if that sort of is the case all the way through? Because you can imagine that of Bill Murray's character, somebody who just slips in and out of your life.
Well, at the end
And then
of
at the end, he probably might have left them everything when he died. And she thinks, oh,
When
it's
who
grandfather. Pete.
so you think that Peter
It
Venkman
could be. I'm
dead?
just saying. I'm just lobbing options out there.
I think
I've already said it's at all of them.
a key word in all this is afterlife. Beyond the grave. Somebody's in the afterlife, aren't they? They are.
Well, they're all. It's about ghosts, so there'll definitely be somebody.
No, somebody, not just somebody. Some integral part of the story is in the afterlife. Now, is it the Ghostbusters in the mine? Could be any one of them.
Or is it the grandfather? Is it the husband?
Yeah, 100%. That's the key. That afterlife.
I think there's a big chunk there that's obvious, but it'll become more obvious when you watch it.
Yeah. And like I say, it is unbelievable that they've not revealed any of these big. They could have relied on everything on that
I
trailer.
think that trailer is like the first third, if not a quarter of film.
Yeah.
I think it's barely scratching at the surface.
Yeah, I think there's so much
I
more
mean,
to it.
let me. Another question. Not a question. I suppose it is a question.
Go on, Beyonce.
Is where the trailer's coming on, and it shows you all these locations, and it shows you the house, it shows you the mine. What do we think? It almost looks like a factory where you can see the ghost hiding under what's like a sheet up at the top, and it camera pans in, and then it pops up, written and directed by Jason Reitman. Where's that location? Where is that? Is it a factory? Is it that there's so many things?
Just looks
different-
like a local factory in town to me. Ghost probably done one when Ecto was chasing its eye.
I mean, it might be just in area.
Or what if it's a makeshift containment unit? You never know.
Well, there could be other areas that
Yeah.
are owned. Like there's this mine, there's farm. There might be a factory owned, and that maybe that's where they've kept everything.
Yeah. Can I just say an all right? You know, when the trailer come on, I had no idea what to expect. But just like you've said, Tony, the whole location and the iconic backdrop of Ghostbusters is New York City, innit?
Yeah.
That is.
Some would say that New York is a character itself in the
Well, that's what I was going to
films.
say. New York is an entire presence itself. Manhattan, the Upper West Side, all of it is Ghostbusters. That's it. That's the image, innit?
Yeah.
So when this trailer started with the car on the cliff, it is so far from what I expected to
That's
see.
what I like about it. I like that locale.
yeah.
I like the way that it is so took away from New
Very
York.
like
The
left
hustle and
field.
bustle of New
Yeah.
York. It's like
Yeah.
it's that empty feeling of emptiness.
Because you
and-
kept saying they can't recapture something that happened in 80s. They can't recapture the look and feel. Maybe they don't need to. Make their own.
yeah.
But also, when it started, it reminded me of like the first Transformers movie. It did, you know, we like that sort of. I don't know why it's Shia LaBeouf cruising in his car.
I
sort
just
of.
think if it was set in New York, it would have a very different feel.
Yeah, well, we'd seen it all
It's
before.
been done,
Yeah,
hasn't it?
yeah.
You know, don't forget it's Ghostbusters 4, and the other 3 were set in New York.
Fucking bullshit.
No, I'm kidding. It's Ghostbusters 3. So yeah, the trailer definitely worked, didn't it? It's hit all the right spots, and
Well,
people are twice as
To
excited.
us, it's like there's only certain trailers that we've ever, usually Avengers,
Yeah,
but that's one that you can analyse
but the anticipation for it was humongous.
It's funny when people say it doesn't give anything away. It might not do.
I think it gives so much away.
but there's a lot to discuss.
It
in
asks
that
a
movie.
lot of questions.
Well, that's what I like about it, and I think there's so much visually that if you go and watch the film and then come back, you'll be just kicking yourself.
Yeah.
You will absolutely be like, oh, how did I miss that? How did I not see that?
So the day they come out on Monday, I was looking on Twitter and stuff and looking at a few reactions, and Ghostbusters Afterlife was trending, number one trend on Twitter. But one of the other trends just below it was Ghostbusters The Force Awakens, because some people were saying how it's been reinvigorated in the same sense that Star Wars was, because it's pulling back old characters in the same storyline, in the same universe.
I'm friends with a passionate Star Wars fan. Passionate, he loves it, right? And so to him, he was saying that Last Jedi, like I said earlier, has killed the franchise. It's done. They've rewritten all these characters. Well, so basically, Last Jedi is the 2016 Ghostbusters, but we're lucky that they didn't use any of the original good. They rebranded it. It's a different entity. So now they can realise what went wrong with Star Wars, what went wrong with Ghostbusters, and none of these problems will happen in Ghostbusters Afterlife. And fuck things up, don't they?
So yeah, it was trending as Ghostbusters Force Awakens. And I always used to say to people that Ghostbusters got the unfair treatment because Jurassic Park got a new life breathed into it with Jurassic World.
That didn't last.
Well,
no, it didn't.
That's like breathing new life into it and then it died.
Yeah,
do you know that?
Jurassic World was amazing.
Do you know what that is? That's me giving you keys to a Ferrari. You drive it straight into a wall.
Yeah.
So Star Trek got reinvigorated. Actually, that was before Star Wars did, because J.J. Abrams directed the Star Trek movie. I think it was like in 2008, where it had all the same characters in it and stuff.
But I think that Star Trek showed, if you walk away, if the director walks away, you can't just hand it to anyone, because I'll tell you what, number 3, that has nearly finished that franchise.
Yeah, well, it has.
Seriously.
That was years ago now already.
Yeah,
about 5 years.
I think I've seen it once. When I've watched first one and Into Darkness loads of times, because they are absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, they are.
But number 3 with fucking Idris Elba. I mean, I don't mind Idris Elba, but it's just fucking everywhere.
Do you know who wrote that?
It's like bloody Villain at Week.
Do you know who wrote that?
It were Simon Pegg.
Yeah.
Simon Pegg did it, and I love Simon Pegg to death, but fucking hell.
But do you know, it's funny you said that, director handing the reins over.
Well, director from Fast and Furious.
Yeah, Justin Lin.
Yeah.
But J.J. Abrams wrote and directed Force Awakens and handed it over to Rian Johnson, who did Last Jedi.
Is it Rian Johnson? It's Rian Johnson.
But basically, it is interesting how much people hate that film. I've not watched it, but...
See, I tried to watch it again and turned it off. I do want to give it a try.
So, I agree with what you're saying, that when a director hands the reins over, it can just go downhill. That happened with Deadpool 2. That was nowhere near as good.
No.
It happened with Thor Ragnarok. Nowhere near as
classic
it. Completely
case.
changed.
Terminator. Only 2 good ones are the only ones original director did.
So,
it's a vision, innit?
Obviously, J.J. Abrams, once he did Star Trek and showed what they did with that franchise with the same characters from decades ago, he got offered Star Wars, jumped ship straight to it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's directing The Rise of Skywalker as well. I think he's gone back to it. Now,
he is.
That's out a week today. So, just because it is one of the biggest films of this year, even though it's probably going to be the last film that's out this year, where do you think that franchise stands now with that last film coming out? Because don't forget, this is the end of the original saga. So,
to me, what I've always said about these new Star Wars is visually they're brilliant. Some of the visuals and that they've done on them are absolutely amazing, but the storylines are shit. Even first new one, it was just a rehash of original. Second one was sort of like a rehash of Empire Strikes Back, but even shitter. I'm not going into this last one, even though I am a massive... I mean, I love Star Wars, but I'm not going in thinking this is great, but it is supposed to wrap everything up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only reason why I would really want to see it, because it's supposedly wraps up a lot and explains a lot, but I've not got high hopes for it.
Tell you something, if in Afterlife, if it gets to end of movie and Bill Murray comes up and they give him his iconic proton pack back and he just launches it and walks off, I'll be pissed off. Like Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker does. He's got his dad's lightsaber back and he just tosses it away, doesn't he? What the fuck?
See, the thing is, you put so much hope into these movies, and if you sometimes you can be so let down.
Oh yeah.
And we've been let down so many times. I don't feel as though this Ghostbusters will let us down.
You've got to look at who's making
the problem is, it's happened so many times before.
But
you go in, they react, you think, yes, new Terminator's coming out. James Cameron, original cast, and then you go, it's shit.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think it was too bad, but you just thought it was too bad. What I'm saying is you get disappointed.
So do you think the franchise reputation of Star Wars rests on this last film?
Yes.
Oh, I tell you what they've done and all, which is interesting. They've wiped their slate clean. Have you seen what? There's no other film on the horizon now. This is it. They've cancelled the Game of Thrones writers trilogy, sacked them. That's done. That Rian Johnson, whatever his name is, was set to write and direct his own trilogy. After The Last Jedi, that's been canned. Spin-off movies, a Han Solo story, Star Wars story.
That were shit.
They've been canned, so that's 3 different franchises canned. They've only done 2 films, including, 4.
Well, there were Rogue One which weren't too bad. To me, that could have carried on. That could have carried on, but then they reshot up End, which it were a weak ending, and decided, and I thought, well,
but then again,
it could have been something good that, and it weren't.
But they are juggling with that franchise.
See, that Mandalorian, I find that boring.
It's not out yet, is it? Because Disney Plus don't come over here until March.
I've already seen it.
What? Anyway.
Yeah, I know you've watched it and also
I haven't actually.
And I find it boring.
Well, we've only got 5 minutes left of this podcast, something like that. So, like we always do on these episodes, tell me what you've been watching. I do think it's difficult to get films in at this time of year because every day especially because you work in retail.
I like to watch a Christmas movie.
I've watched a couple of Christmas films. I watched Home Alone last night, which is an absolute classic. It's just an amazing film. And then a couple of nights ago, I watched The Nativity with Martin Freeman, which I wasn't overly fond of.
I'm just going to quickly say a couple of films that I watched, and I know when I finish on one, you'll have to say something. I watched Mary Poppins. I watched Fred Claus, because I think that's brilliant. But I watched a film, and one of the actors in it, I think, is so unrecognised for being absolutely brilliant, and it was Wayne's World. And I just think, Dana Carvey, everything he says does in that film. I mean, he's brilliant, Mike Myers, don't get me wrong. But Dana Carvey, everything he does and says is absolutely ribbed for her pleasure.
Ew. Tell you one that I like.
It's just, he's so good, and I feel that
never really
he's not got the credit.
Do you know what it is?
Because he's absolutely brilliant.
It's like his star never got to really shine, did it? His rocket never took off. Them films are like him and Cap. He's perfect.
I mean, Mike Myers is good.
Yeah, but God.
But he is, everything he says is perfect.
Genius.
Like when he's got that.
Oh, that lace.
Yeah, he's got that big bloody bowl thing.
Is it? Who was the woman that was in it?
Cassandra.
Kim
Basinger.
That's in number 2.
Where she says, Garth, can I be frank with you?
Well, that's...
Okay, but can I still be Garth?
I know, it's where she goes, take me, Garth. Where? I'm out of gas and you need to check it.
Everything he gets.
We're gonna have to.
All the best.
We're gonna have to spit some quotes now. I like this one. You ready? I'm gonna do it. It's like people only do things because they get paid, and that's just really sad.
Did you ever find Bugs Bunny when she was a girl?
Yeah. Did you ever find Bugs Bunny attractive when she was dressed in women's clothes? When Kim Basinger gives him handgun to kill her husband. He's a dead man. He runs out of the house, throws it away.
I know as soon as I mentioned it, I know you'd have to say something.
I dressed as Garth for Halloween, didn't I? I could go on for hours.
That's it for this podcast. We've got 10 seconds left. Thanks for following us. Instagram, Forget Work, Watch Films. Keep listening.
Next week, Christmas special.
See you later.
Goodbye.